Hi everybody, and welcome back for this month's craft tutorial. We have another teen craft kit. This month we are doing candy corn perler bead bracelets. You can pick these up at the main Woodmere branch of the library if you would like to participate in our craft. Alright, so in our bag, pretty simple this month, we've got 4 colors of perler beads, black, a few whites, yellow, and orange. And then we've got a piece of elastic cord. So, deceptively simple. Not a whole lot of parts to it, but it does take a little bit of time, which is my favorite kind of craft, personally. So you want to undo your string. This is about 10 feet. It's probably a little more than you need, but that's okay. Step 1 is to take one bead and tie it to the end of your cord. I'm going to use a black because we have lots of black. You should have more than enough of every color, but I put lots of extra black in there just in case your bracelet was a little longer than mine. So I'm going to tie that onto the end. I'm going to tie it twice just to make sure it's really on there. Alright. And we're on. Alright. Bead on the end of the cord just to make sure the beads aren't falling off the end for you. Alright. Now, this sheet is going to be your best friend because it shows you every single column what color beads you need. So, keep this close. The only other thing that you're going to need is a pair of scissors at the end. So, we have tied our bead onto the end of the cord. The first row of your bracelet is going to be 6 black beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. A lot of cords. It'll take a little minute to string them all down to the end for you. And you'll have a row of 6. Now, we're going to go backwards. So we're going to go back this way with your cord. So, that's row 1, or column 1, I guess you should call it. Now, we're going to go ahead and go to row 2. So, on row 2, we need to start with a yellow bead. So, 1 yellow strung through your cord. And then you're going to take the end of your string and you are going to go through bead number 5. So not the very end one, the next one over. Like so. And pull that all the way through. Again, you got a lot of cord to work with, so it's going to take just a minute to kind of pull everything through for you, but it'll work, I promise. Alright, and the idea is that you'll kind of have a little bit of a zigzag there. Alright, now, kind of pull that all the way down and pull it tight. The rest of the row is going to be black. So, we're going to do a black, all the way down to the end, skip 1 bead, and go to the next one. And I lost the end of my cord. Skip a bead, next bead. Alright. And pull all the way down. Alright, so now we've got 2 in the row. And then we need another black. 1 and go to bead number 3. I'm sorry, that was number 3. Do bead number 1. We did number 5, number 3, and now number 1. And pull all the way through. Alright, so that is column 1 and 2. Kind of have like a little zigzag. Now at the end of every column, you want to really make sure you're pulling that tight, just so everything is snug on there. So that is rows 1 and 2. Now, the rest of your instructions are just going to tell you what color to put on there. So that is column 2. For column 3, we're going to do black and then yellow and then yellow, it looks like. So let's do the next row. And you want to string these through to the beads that are sticking up. So on this row, you can see I've got 3 beads, 1, 2, 3, that are sticking up. I'll lay the end here. Black. Now remember, we're going back on what we just did, so the yellow will be on your other side. So through that top black, and then consult my instructions here. Alright. Black bead, string through number 9, and a black bead, go through number 8. So that black at the second little bump there. And then add a yellow and string through the yellow bead. Alright. A yellow through your last yellow. Yeah. So, got another row. Remember, pull tight at the end of the row. Make sure that you've got all kind of the slack out. And that is rows 1 through 3. Alright, I'm going to cut and I'm going to string all of the first candy corn. So in columns 1 through 13, it shows you how to get all the way through the first candy corn design. So I will cut, I will string 1 through 13, and then I will come back and show you where we're at. Okay, I'm back. I have rows 1 through 13, so our first candy corn, all done. So remember, after every row, make sure you kind of tug and get that nice and tight. And at every row, you need to be changing directions. So the next row, I'm going to go down this way on the bumped out ones. And the row after, I would flip it and do the same. So just to show, I've been marking off my rows, kind of helps me keep track, but we were done with set 1, so we need to go back to the beginning. So I need to go back to doing the blacks. So I guess you don't go to row 1, because row 1 was your 6 beads. You would go to row 2. So black, black, yellow. Now I am kind of getting a little dull on the end. I don't know if you can see on my cord. So if that's happening to you, just go ahead and snip a little bit off the end so you have a nice clean string to work with. So again, we went this way last time. We're going to flip it back. Go through the first one. Still lots of string to work with. second bead. Nestle in that little hole there, and then we're starting a new candy corn, so a yellow is what we need last. Alright. Oh, see? I need to read my directions. That is wrong. We need to be down at the bottom. So the first row does actually need to be black, black, black. So if that happens to you, just pull out your last bead. And go back. Add my black. This will get progressively easier as you have less string to work with, just because there's a lot to kind of pull through at the beginning, but I want to give you plenty of cord to work with. Alright, so black, black, black. Now if you see, when I start, that bead is going to nestle right into the bottom. So that's why I need to wait until the next row to do the yellow. Because if I start with the yellow, pull my row tight. Okay. Oops, and I lose the end of my cord again. Alright. I start with the yellow. And go back the other way. I'm just going to put that right at the bottom, which is where we need to start our new candy corn. See the difference? So that's much, much better. So for row 3, we need yellow, black, black. And then you want to repeat those rows over and over again until you get the length that you want. So again, because this is a fairly time-consuming process, I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. And then when I get to the length that I want, I will show you how to finish it up. Just remember, you switch directions every time you start a new row or column, and you are not throwing that sword. You are pulling tight after each row. If your beads get a little caught up there, if you tug them, they should settle into that little gap. So keep stringing until you get your desired length, and then I will be back to show you the final products. Okay, I am back much later with my finished bracelet. So you can make this as long as you want. I have really tiny wrists, so you probably need a little bit more than this, which is why I gave you lots of extra cord. You can see I still have lots left, and lots of extra beads. So you want to make sure that on your last row that the beads fit together like a zipper. I actually had to add one more row of black to make that work, but you can see they kind of fit together, and that's how you know that you're at a point where you can stop. So when you've done that, I'm going to cut off some of my extra cord just so I don't have quite so much to work with. Alright. You take your cord and you kind of weave it through both sides. So again, on the bumped out beads, go through one side as I get stuck. Alright. And then go up through the bottom of the other side's bead at the next one there. So this one here. And then the bottom of the other side, the middle. You can see what's kind of going on here. We're getting kind of a zigzag stitch. The bottom of the other side, middle. Bottom towards the top. and then your top ones. So this one here. I've been doing this a while, my hands are a little tired. Alright. Alright. Now on this side, this is the one with my bead tied on. I'm going to kind of tighten that down a little bit too. Alright, and then the last side, top. There. Alright, and then you've kind of got the zigzag pattern. And tighten that up and pull it all the way through. Now again, because I've got that side I started on, I kind of have to make sure that that is tight as well. And we'll kind of work this through until everything is tight. So I'm pulling like one loop at a time to kind of start that tightening process. It takes a little bit of finagling to make it work, but you can get it. You can see we're starting to kind of get that all woven together. Alright. And there we go. So this is the side where my bead was originally. I pulled that kind of tight, and I pulled the other side as tight as we can get it, so it comes together. Now, take your little extra end with the bead and your extra string and tie those in a couple knots just to secure it. I'm going to do 2 or 3 good knots in here just to really make sure this isn't going to come undone, because that's the last thing you need is getting a bracelet come undone while you're wearing it. You can kind of wrap around a couple times with knots like this to give it a little extra security. I'm going to do one more just for good measure. Wrap it around twice just because. And pull it tight. Alright, so you're all tied up there, and then you can take your scissors and trim as close as you can get to those ends. Got a little kind of tiny bit of overlap, but not too bad. And then there you go. There is your finished bracelet. It's actually a little big on me, but I want to make sure that I kind of got a full pattern there. And you are all set. It does stretch a little bit, but you want to make sure that you have enough that you can mostly fit it over your hand without stretching, because it doesn't have a ton of stretch with as tight as you pull it. But there you go. Perler bead candy corn bracelets for your Halloween needs. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you again next month for a new craft.